pursuing Bush. I got him at gunpoint.
Welcome to Tobago CSI. I'm Atto Augustine.
And I'm Anne-Marie Degazo.
I'm sure you're probably wondering, what is Tobago CSI?
Tobago CSI is a 12-part series brought to you courtesy the Citizen Security Program. We are going to be looking at the issues surrounding safety in the Tobago context.
I'm sure when we think about what we see in the media about crime and violence and how it is affecting us, that we would all be excited to be a part of this program. And do you think that crime and violence is changing Tobago?
Oh, why certainly, Atto. You know, previously we were quite comfortable with going to town and leaving our homes open, our keys under the mat, our children were free to play in the community spaces. Right now we have to take a closer look at that, and there is cause for serious concern that is interfering with our very way of life.
Some of the topics that Tobago CSI would be exploring are child sexual abuse,
burglaries and break-ins,
domestic violence,
and one that I'm particularly interested in, crimes against our seniors. We will take a very close look at the issues surrounding how they are affected, how they can better protect themselves as they survive in a changing Tobago society.
I'm excited about how we engage our communities, our professionals, and our NGOs as we work towards creating a culture of peace and lawfulness in our lovely Tobago.
Amid increasing concerns over the crime and violence situation in Tobago, Tobago CSI felt it important to speak directly with the agencies involved with the enforcement of law and order. In this regard, we spoke with Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Garfield Moore, and Senior Superintendent Joanne Archie, both of whom are residents of Tobago, about their views on the current situation and the response of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in discharging their functions.
The current crime situation in Tobago for 2015, for the period January to March 31st, we have seen a slight increase in the number of crimes on the island. Those areas are predominantly in the property crime area, which is general larceny, break-ins, and robberies. Okay. And that is of concern to us, seeing that last year we saw a reduction in crime on the island over a similar period in 2013. Okay. Right now we are looking at what might have caused that spike in crime for the period so that we can address it before the next quarter.
Okay, so generally speaking, would you say that the situation is getting better at all, or it's getting progressively worse?
Well, there are fluctuations. At times you find there's a spike and at times it goes down. So it's not that it's getting worse. Okay, this is something that normally occurs on the island. When we have heightened activity, the jazz was coming up, so then we have more people on the island. Right. And then this year, what we saw coming to fore is that there are a lot of larceny. People are just careless in terms of leaving their property unsecured. We had a series of larcenies of cell phones, which is significant in terms of the number of larcenies that we had. Electronic, that is the item that has been one of the prevalent items that have been stolen for the period January to March. Another critical area, if I want to go into road traffic accidents, we also had an increase in road traffic accidents for the first quarter. We didn't have any fatal for the first quarter, we had one just over the weekend. However, the number of accidents that we have, and when you look at how our drivers use the roadway, right, it seems as though they are forgetting that other persons are on the road. They are driving as though they are using blinkers. They are only seen for themselves. They are not seeing the other drivers. Right. And sometimes when you look at the facts how some of the accidents occur, is sheer carelessness.
But this is what I'm
on
saying.
the part
Is
of
it
drivers.
predominantly speed, or is it that we're looking at cases here where people are driving under the influence?
Well, I wouldn't say driving under influence. I'd put them in speed and personality and drive with due care.
Are there any other particular areas that we should be concerned about?
We have the area of sexual crime against minor, between the ages of 14 and 16 and under 13, and then we have the new amendment recently where it will go up to 18 years. Okay, so that is an area of concern that we have. We are hoping that we address our lifestyles and the young people also, because they also contribute to that significantly, or young ladies. So if that can be addressed, that could assist in a long way in reducing the number of incidents of sexual intercourse with a minor.
Right.
There's a heightened awareness right now, and more persons are coming forward. In addition to that, sometimes why the numbers are that large is that when you have one incident, several offenses come out of that one incident. So there might be one person coming forward, and that might be a period maybe of a year, that several days that over that year that things have been happening. So once you can identify those days, that person will be charged maybe for 5 counts or 10 counts, as the case may be, so that the study will just balloon.
Okay.
But sometimes one perpetrator, one victim. That's a regular feature. Majority of time, one person is charged maybe for rape.
Right.
There's also the charge of maybe grievous sexual assault that accompanies it.
Right.
Okay, so there are 2 offenses automatically get on the books.
Okay, but what is that saying of our society in Tobago? What's going on?
It's not something for Tobago. It's not Tobago alone.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenon across the board. Trinidad, it also happens. Right. So it's not Tobago alone, but people are more aware, and with the few incidents that were occurring in Trinidad last year against children, people start coming forward. Parents now start coming forward, because sometimes there was that fear that they would have reported to the mother, and there's that fear because the father is the sole breadwinner, and they don't want to come forward because if they will lose that sole breadwinner. But it seems to be they have caught on with society, and they have started reporting incidents now. Well, to the general public, we are looking at Tobago public, Tobago I might say. We have been looking at our premises, sometimes where we build our houses. I'm talking about the villas in that one. Some of the villas are in such a remote area, and surrounding those villas are only bushes. And that is a recipe that you are easy target, because a person can lure in the bush, look at you, see your everyday movement, and then pounce on you very easily without you detecting that persons are there. So we have been trying to ask persons who own guest houses to clean around their houses, so that they can maybe know or be aware, or the person who are renting from you could be aware that somebody might be lurking around it. Right. In addition to that, our houses have become soft targets. We are not securing our property anymore. Now we will build nice houses, we build beautiful houses, but that house is not properly secured. We still have louver window, we still have windows that are not properly secured. You could just clip it open and go. The doors also, you lock on the doors. We have the deadbolt, and we also have the other bolt, the other lock that you can just take a knife and push it in and pull the tongue, and they're inside your houses. Right? People also still leave keys under the mat. Right? So we have become soft targets, and people are aware of that, and they are pouncing on people. So we need people to be mindful of those culture, and it's very difficult to really change culture. Even though there might be some people who will change a bit, but generally speaking, people will, even though they change for now, once that education process does not continue, you don't try to reinforce it on a daily basis, they get back into the normal mode.
Okay, so you're saying that there has to be that continuous education for our people. Now we've touched on quite a few areas: burglaries, breaking, larceny. We're seeing the sexual offenses that's increasing as well. And you're saying this issue of the property and our very relaxed attitude to the property and so on. What else are we seeing that's increasing?
Well, we are seeing a trend in terms of our policing, when we look at our policing, we need to do a little more. We need to be a little more people-friendly with the general public. We need to build that trust and confidence that we need to get so that they will come forward and give us information and that they know that they will be our friend. If we do that, some of the incidents that we have within the community, we will be more aware of them, and having become more aware of those things, it will help to reduce the number of incidents within the various communities. Because the communities are aware of some of the things that happen within their community. Right. But they are afraid to come forward. They are saying, I don't know who to trust. Yes, you must trust someone. Yeah. I'm saying you must trust someone. But they are saying, listen, I don't know who to trust. Okay. I don't know who police to call, which officer to call.
Interesting.
You know, I don't want my name to be called. Yeah. But we want to reverse that. We want to reverse that trend, that they must be, in their community, they must have a police officer who they can call easily without any repercussions at the end of the day, that their names will be called, as they are saying, or that somebody will know that Mr. Gazo or Mr. John or Mr. Harry would have called.
Well, you certainly have your work cut out for you, sir.
Well, it's a work in progress, and it's a challenge, yes, but I don't think it's something that we cannot overcome. Right. We just have to keep doing it on a daily basis. We have embarked on the monthly town meetings, and we are hoping that we can get information from the public out there that can assist us in doing our work. Because no more we can do the reactive policing. Right. No more can we just sit down and say, listen, we'll sit down here and we know it all. The general public has a lot of information that they can assist us with. They have recommendations that they can make that we can take on board, that they can help us also. So we are partnering with all the various communities, whether it be the tourism, whether it be the community groups, whether it be the football team, whether it be the cricket team. We want to partner with all these teams so that we can make Tobago a safe place. We cannot do it alone, and we're really looking for the help of the community to do it.
What we must understand is that crime is not a static phenomenon. It's dynamic and it's changing every day. And we are seeing where crime around the world, they are taking on different dimensions. We are seeing more and more organized crimes. And Tobago may be no different. However, we have in Tobago always experienced a low crime rate. And we will continue to do so. The officers here are very hardworking, but we just need to understand that change in dynamic. We have seen our crime challenge on the island really is larcenies and break-ins, house break-ins. And we have seen a slight increase for the period 2015 compared to 2014. But we have instituted certain initiatives that everyone is on board with, and we are hoping to see some changes in persons' attitudes towards safety.
So we just heard from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and their view on the situation of crime and violence here in Tobago and the changing dynamic, and how this changing dynamic is of concern to the police and their interventions. Now we are going to have the opportunity to hear from the Citizen Security Program, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security, also aiming at preventing crime and violence here in Tobago. We'll hear from the program coordinator as well as the monitoring and evaluation specialist, who will give us information on the data of crime and violence here in Tobago.
We see crime as a social dysfunction and something that needs to be treated with at a community level. You know, working with, using what we call a social ecological model, working with individuals, their families, the communities at large, and then the greater society in terms of public education and reinforcing certain things that would have been learned at the other levels of engagement. I think when we look at what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, we really have to look at you know, some of the main institutions, the family for one, which is key, right? That's one of the key social structures in which an individual would learn social norms. And because we have seen an increase in domestic violence, child abuse, child neglect, and just intra-family dysfunction, it would be natural to assume, and it has been happening, that the individuals coming out of these situations would develop antisocial attitudes and behaviors, not just towards their family and their community, but towards society at large. You know, and this really plays out itself in the levels and types of crimes that we see. A lot of crimes of passion, a lot of interrelationship crimes, the increase in even the homicides and the shootings and woundings. When you examine it and take a closer look at it, you recognize that it has a lot to do with how people are dealing with conflict or perceived conflict. And these are all things that we need to intervene and start really offering alternatives for persons to be able to treat with the stresses of today's life. With regards to Trinidad and Tobago, I think are a bit different. In Trinidad, where we see a lot more fragmentation within communities. I mean, we have worked in communities where neighbors don't talk to neighbors, streets at war with streets, these sort of things. I think in Tobago, we haven't seen that level of disconnect, right? There's still a fairly strong community ties. But what we have been experiencing, and I say we as CSP, the Tobago office, has been these issues of property crimes, breaking and enterings, larceny, that sort of thing. And I think in Tobago, people in general just have a more relaxed attitude towards securing their property and maybe their households and these sort of things. So this is something that people have to be educated about, because we live in different times now. And whereas before a young adolescent or a young child would be very happy with a pack of marbles, or just going outside and picking fruit and swinging on the trees and these sort of things. Now there is this peer pressure to have a digital device, be it a iPad, iPhone, any kind of these smartphones or smart devices. And the pressure is there. You're in primary school, other kids have phones, you don't have a phone. How are you going to get a phone? So this puts pressure, added pressure, over the last decade, I would say, for sure, on children to acquire these things. And if they can't get it through normal means, working to get the money to buy it, getting it from their parents or whatever have you, unfortunately, it leads them to deviant behavior.
Well, I'm the monitoring and evaluation specialist with the CSP, and basically what I do is keep track of all the projects that are being done at CSP and to what extent they're having an effect on our communities in terms of positively changing lives. Well, we have been collecting some data over the years. The project started in 2008, so our data would be following the 2008 to 2014 timeframe. And there have been, basically in Tobago overall, there's been an increase in the major serious crimes, particularly the murder, sexual offenses, and wounding and shooting. We saw that after a fairly stable period between 2008 and 2011, there was an increase in 2012 and 2014. We're still seeing a fairly large number. Overall, it was up 70% over the entire period. This is for Tobago as a whole. For CSP communities, however, there will be the three communities there: Bonaccord, Bethel, and Glen Road, Darrell Spring. The news is a little better because we saw that there's been a general decrease over the same time period. So between 2008 and 2014, we were down about 53% when you combine these three crimes.
Okay.
There's still been some variation, and one of the main concerns there you'll see would be the sexual offenses, which is still, of course, a major concern.
Okay, could we go back to the first slide that you have? Because I want to maybe ask, because I'm seeing relatively between 2008 to about 2011, it's relatively stable in that area. It shot up a little bit in 12, but I'm looking at 2014. Could you tell us anything about what is happening there?
Well, the major reason for the big spike you're seeing in 2014 is the figure for sexual offenses. There are many theories around why that figure is suddenly so high in 2014. One being that reporting of these types of crimes generally has been on the increase over the years, and the TTPS has actually been doing quite a bit of outreach work and work trying to make connections with the community so people would feel comfortable reporting these types of crimes. That could be one reason why we're seeing this type of increase in 2014. Of course, we don't really know to what extent reporting has influenced this.
Right.
And one of the things we're going to be doing is a victimization survey to try and figure out to what extent these types of crimes are being reported or not.
Okay, okay. I see in 2013 we've had an increase in that red block. What's that?
That's wounding and shooting.
Woundings and shootings. And what's happening there? Because it was pretty low between I think 2009 to 11, and then I see it shoot up a bit 2012, 13. What's anything you can tell us about what's happening there?
Well, these are figures for Tobago as a whole, and I think when you look at most of the serious crimes in Tobago, there has been a general, a trend towards increase. And in 2013, we're seeing a high level of wounding and shooting. Definitely, the availability of guns has been a factor which has affected both Trinidad and Tobago,
right,
which is contributing to this.
The decisions you make today influence your future. You determine where you want to be. Make the right choice. Stop. Stay calm. Start thinking. A message from the Ministry of National Security's Citizen Security Program.
One bite! I want to play!
Oh, you can do that, boy. Oh, you can do that, boy.
Stop the violence and abuse. Stay calm. Start thinking. The Ministry of National Security's Citizen Security Program.
I'm Samantha John.
I am Nadia Batson.
The incredible Myron B.
I'm K.I. Chucky Gordon.
Hi, my name is Sheriff.
And we are Freetown.
And I'm urging each and every citizen of our beautiful country.
It's time for us to put a stop to crime and violence in Trinidad and Tobago once and for all.
In Freetown, we believe that every citizen has the right to life.
We need to be responsible not only for ourselves but for others as well.
I think the only way to counteract any kind of fear is to inject love.
We have the power to stand up, to unite, to stay positive, and to win back our country. Build a culture of lawfulness, peace, respect, love, harmony.
The Citizen Security Program.
Stop the violence and abuse.
Stop the violence and abuse.
Stay calm.
Stay calm. Stay calm.
Stay calm and start thinking.
Start thinking.
And start thinking.
A message from the Citizen Security Program. Stop the violence and abuse. Stay calm and start thinking.
Kisha, you know this girl coming here?
What's that?
I can't remember her name. But if you hear the kinds of things this girl is saying about you.
Serious? Like what?
Girl, all kind of things.
Go study it. We go fix that. I hear you talking about
me.
You hear me talking about
Huh?
Don't
worry, y'all back up here. Y'all back up.
Stop the violence and abuse. Stay calm. Start thinking.
Well, people talk, yes.
The Ministry of National Security's Citizen Security Program.
No, I'm not ready for that. No.
Stop. Stay calm. Start thinking.
Okay, cool.
Later.
A message from the Ministry of National Security's Citizen Security Program.